everyone, welcome back to Let's Code to Be a Java Programmer. Today is day 33 of our coding journey. In today's session, we'll explore static blocks in Java. Static blocks are used for initializing static variables and are executed when the class is loaded. Let's dive in. Okay, so today what we are going to see is all about static block. Okay, so earlier we saw about static variable and then we learned about static method, and today we are going to see about static block. Okay, so for simplicity, let me remove all these objects. Okay, I have removed them. Let me also remove this. Okay, let me also remove this one. Okay, so we have something called as constructor, right? And we can use constructor like this. Public mobile off. And inside this constructor we can add these instance variables along with this static variable. Let's add this and let the brand be something empty. Then the price also may change over a period, so let it be empty. Or let me give a 0 for now. And you can also have the liberty to add the static variable inside this constructor. So let me add name is equal to phone. Okay, in order to show that while executing this creation of object that the constructor is getting called, let me print here constructor is called. Okay, since we are not printing anything here, we won't be able to see the output, so let me just show you. Constructor is called. Okay, so how does it work? Here's the main method, and here during the main method, during the object creation, here is the mobile of constructor, and since we have created the constructed here inside the mobile class, and in order to indicate that it's being called, we are printing this statement. Okay, so each time when an object is being created, the brand is being called and price is being called, because the brand and price may not be the same and it may vary for each and everything. But the static variable, which we have given the name as phone, it will be the same. And why it should be there inside this constructor and getting called itself each time one by one, and to avoid that unnecessary time consumption, we create something called a static block. Okay, you know what happens inside this static block? It gets called only once. Let me say as static block. And we must understand two things during the object creation. So inside JVM, we have two things happening during the object creation. Those two things are, let me write it above. Okay, during object creation, there is two things that is being happened. Okay, the first one is the class loads, and the second one is gets instantiated. You know one thing, each and every time when an object is being created, these two steps get executed, but it's not a problem, but the rule is this class gets loaded only once, and it is the first thing which will happen, whereas the instantiation process happens every time for each and every object. So in order to see, let's have a look at the output. So what's the class that loads here during this object instantiation? Static is the block, it gets printed only once, and it gets instantiated, that is the mobile constructor gets called. Yes, after running static block and constructor is clocked. Okay. Okay, since it's only one object is here, its static block is getting called once. What happens if there's another object? Again, only one static block only will get, because class loads gets executed only once and not twice. And only the instantiation process gets multiplied, gets repeated. Okay. So here I have created two objects. During this instantiation process, the class loads and the static block gets executed, and gets inside this constructor and executes. Again, during this execution, since the class has already been loaded, only the mobile phone gets called once. Okay, so let's see. Yes, the static block is being called first, and the constructor is called, and then again the constructor is being called. Okay, now you may ask me that since the static block is first, it is getting first executed. In Java, there is nothing based on sequential. So in order to make you understand even that and prove that, let me again execute it, because the static is here after the constructor. Let's see what the output is. Again, the static block is first because the procedure of object instantiation happens like this. Okay, the static block gets executed first and only one time, followed by the n number of execution of the constructors based upon the number of object created. Now let me just come in this part. In order to prove that, what happens if the object is not created? Will the static method be called? Does the class loads? Let's just check it. Okay. No, nothing. There's no output. Because since there's no object creation, of course the class loads also haven't been happened. Okay, we don't want to create an object, but we just alone want to load the class. For that, what we can do is, there's something called as class feature with a method called as for name. And inside this for name, you can add the class name for which the static method you want it to be executed. Okay, so what's the class name here? It's mobile. And you should need to add a, it throws an exception, so you need to add this. We'll see about it later. For now, you just understand. Now this calls the, using this class for name method, the class mobile gets called, in which only the class loads, that is the static block alone, gets executed. Let's have a look at it. Static block. Now the static block has got executed twice because okay, I haven't removed it. Puna. That's why I have removed it. Now let's see. Yes. Without the object creation, only the static blocks which are inside gets executed. So that's all for today. Static blocks provide a way to execute code when the class is loaded, making them useful for initializing static variables and performing setup tasks. They can help you organize your code and ensure that necessary initialization happens before any methods are called. Thank you for joining me on day 33 of Let's Go to be a Java Programmer. If you found this video helpful, please like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon to get notified about our daily coding sessions. See you tomorrow for day 34. Happy coding!